Trump just announced he'll meet Putin in Hungary within 2 weeks, and this could change everything. After a 2.5-hour call on October 16th, the deal on the table might force Russia to finally negotiate or face a game-changing weapon that could reach Moscow. Here's what just happened. On October 16th, Donald Trump and Vladimir Putin had a lengthy phone call, nearly 2.5 hours, and immediately after, Trump announced they'll meet face-to-face in Budapest, Hungary, within 2 weeks. This comes one day before Zelensky walks into the Oval Office on Friday to make his case for the most powerful weapon Ukraine has asked for yet. Why does this matter to you? Because the decisions made in the next 48 hours could determine whether American troops ever get pulled into this conflict, whether gas prices spike again, and whether Putin walks away thinking he can challenge us whenever he wants. Let me set the stage. Russia has been pounding Ukraine with hundreds of drones and dozens of missiles every single night, targeting infrastructure and energy facilities. Zelensky is desperate. He's asking for Tomahawk cruise missiles, weapons that can fly 1,000 miles and hit targets deep in Russian territory, including Moscow itself. And Trump? He told reporters over the weekend he's actually considering it. But here's where it gets fascinating. After the Alaska summit back in August, where Trump rolled out the red carpet for Putin, there was zero progress toward peace. Critics hammered Trump for being too soft. Now, after the phone call on Thursday, something shifted. Trump's tone got harder. The carrot is gone. The stick is coming out. Finland's president put it perfectly when he told the BBC that Trump is the only one who can force Putin to the table. Not by being nice, by applying pressure. And right now, that pressure has a name: Tomahawks. Think about what's really happening here. Zelensky said that Moscow is rushing to resume dialogue as soon as they heard about the Tomahawks. Putin knows what those missiles mean. They mean Kiev could strike the Kremlin. They mean Russian oil refineries, military bases, and command centers are suddenly in range. The Kremlin called it a whole new level of escalation. Translation? They're scared. Should Trump give Ukraine these missiles? Let me steelman the other side for a second. Critics say arming Ukraine with long-range weapons risks World War III, that we're poking the nuclear bear, that America should focus on our own problems instead of funding wars overseas. Fair points. A lot of Americans are tired of endless conflicts and worried about escalation. But here's the pro-America reality. Letting Putin win in Ukraine sends a message to every dictator on the planet. Invade your neighbors, and America will look the other way. China's watching Taiwan. Iran's watching Israel. North Korea's watching South Korea. If Putin takes Ukraine, do you think he stops there? Finland's president made it clear. Russia already tried to divide Europe, split NATO, and take over Ukraine, and they failed. 2 new NATO members, Finland and Sweden, joined specifically because of Putin's aggression. This isn't charity, this is deterrence. Russia's economy is smaller than Italy's. Their growth is near zero. Inflation is running between 10 and 20%. And their reserves are depleted. They're bleeding. In the last 1,000 days, Russia has only captured 1% of Ukrainian territory. Ukraine is holding the line, but they need the tools to finish the job. And here's what Trump understands that a lot of politicians don't. Peace doesn't come from weakness. Peace comes from strength. During the phone call, Putin repeated his view that Tomahawks wouldn't change the battlefield, but would cause significant damage to relations between the U.S. and Russia. In other words, Putin's worried. He's bluffing. He wants Trump to back down. But Trump didn't back down. Trump told reporters after the call, "We need Tomahawks for the United States too. We can't deplete for our country." Smart. He's not committing yet, but he's keeping the pressure on. He's letting Putin sweat. Now, What happens next? High-level advisors from both countries are meeting next week to prepare for the Budapest summit. Secretary of State Marco Rubio will lead the U.S. delegation. Then Trump and Putin sit down, probably within 2 weeks. And Zelensky? He meets Trump at the White House on Friday, where he'll make his final pitch for those Tomahawks and more air defense systems. Here's what you need to watch in the next 48 hours. First, does Trump greenlight the Tomahawks after meeting Zelensky? If he does, Putin's calculus changes overnight. Second, what does Trump demand in return at the Budapest summit? Does he force Russia to withdraw from occupied territories, or does he pressure Zelensky to give up land for peace? Third, does Europe step up? Finland's president said Europe's coalition of the willing is ready to provide security guarantees to Ukraine, but they need American air defense, intelligence, and operations as a backstop. Let's talk about what this means for everyday Americans. If Trump brokers a peace deal, gas prices could stabilize, European markets could rally, American energy exports could surge. But if this drags on? Russian forces keep hammering Ukrainian energy infrastructure, which destabilizes global energy markets. Grain exports get disrupted. Food prices rise. Inflation stays high. You feel it at the pump and the grocery store. And here's the bigger picture. American credibility is on the line. Our allies are watching. Finland's president made it clear. Ukraine must retain its independence, sovereignty, and territorial integrity, and become an EU and hopefully NATO member when the war ends. If America abandons Ukraine now, every ally from Taiwan to Poland starts questioning whether we'll be there when they need us. Do I think Trump can pull this off? Honestly, maybe. Finland's president said he believes peace negotiations have advanced more in the past 8 months of Trump's second term than in the previous 3 years. Trump's transactional. He knows leverage. And right now, he's got it. Putin's economy is crumbling. His military is exhausted. His people are tired. The question is whether Trump uses that leverage to get a deal that protects American interests and doesn't reward aggression. But here's what worries me. Trump is holding this summit in Budapest, the same city where Russia promised in 1994 not to invade Ukraine if Ukraine gave up its nuclear weapons. Putin broke that promise in 2014 when he annexed Crimea, and again in 2022 with the full-scale invasion. So, forgive me if I'm skeptical about Russian promises. Is Trump playing four-dimensional chess, or is he getting played? That's the question. And we'll find out soon. One quick thing before I go. If you're finding this breakdown valuable, hit that like button and subscribe. We're covering every major development in this story as it unfolds, and I need your support to keep bringing you the truth without the spin. So what's the bottom line? Trump has Putin on the ropes. Trump said he wants to stop the killing and get peace. But peace on whose terms? If Trump can force Russia to withdraw without rewarding aggression, that's a win for America and the free world. If he pressures Zelensky to surrender territory just to close the deal, that's a win for Putin and a disaster for American credibility. Here's my take. Trump should greenlight the Tomahawks, not to escalate, but to deter. Putin only responds to strength. Give Ukraine the tools to defend itself, force Russia to the table, and negotiate from a position of power. Anything less is appeasement, and appeasement never works with dictators. But I want to hear from you. Should Trump give Ukraine those Tomahawk missiles, or is that risking World War III? Comment yes or no, and tell me why. Do you think Trump can actually broker a lasting peace, or is Putin just buying time? Let's debate this in the comments. And here's the final question that should keep you up at night. If America backs down now, what's stopping China from invading Taiwan next year? What's stopping Iran from going nuclear? What's stopping every rogue regime from testing us? Because the world is watching, and what Trump does in the next 2 weeks will define America's role on the global stage for the next decade. That's it for today. I'm your host at Politics Tribune, and I'll see you in the next one. Stay informed, stay engaged, and let's make sure America's voice is heard.
If you enjoyed the video, hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss any new videos.